3, 2, 1, we're live. You guys, we're live.
Great.
Look alive, we're live. Look alive. Hey, folks, thanks for joining us this evening for Activate Thursday. We are so grateful that you are here. Thanks for taking the time and joining us here in the land of Facebook. This is broadcast in our public channel so that you can so that you can share and engage with this content however you want. While we're talking today, like, we probably won't be active in the chat. Well, we certainly won't be active in the chat because we're going to try to actually be paying attention to one another. But please, those of you that are watching, join in the chat, be active, make comments, ask questions, and we will do our best to come back and answer those. My name is Jesse Allen. I am the Senior Vice President of Global Product Marketing here at LifeVantage. With me today, Lisa Barnes. She's our Vice President of Research and Development, and Dr. Christina Beer. Is there an S on the end of your name?
No S. Just one
I
beer.
you know that by now.
Just one beer.
I should, yeah, but I said it wrong the other day, and then I kept questioning myself. So, Dr. Christina Beer, also part of the research and development team. Tonight, we are talking about Rise AM and Reset PM, and we may talk a little bit about LifeVantage D3 Plus. New products that were released at the beginning of the year in January, a multi-nutrient solution. And we are, anyway, so it's just a follow-up call to share some great information about those products and hopefully talk a little bit about what differentiates or sets us apart from the other options in the marketplace today. We don't have a structured presentation, so this is going to be very conversational between the three of us, and hopefully conversational in a sense with each of you as you ask questions, and again, we'll do our best to circle back and answer those as much as we can. Just recently, if you paid attention, or if you were part of the Activate Thursday 2 weeks ago, it was very similar. Dr. Nancy Bryan from our Scientific Advisory Board was part of that call, and again, that one was much more conversational rather than a use of a formal presentation and slides, but it went really well and the engagement was great. So we're repeating that again today. So anyways, Lisa, Christina, you guys want to introduce yourself? Or I mean, they've seen you, like, well, depending on, unless they're new, but for those that that join us every other Thursday, they know who you are. But
Yeah, glad to. So I'm Lisa Barnes. I'm VP of R&D, like Jesse said. I've been at LifeVantage now for 6 months. It's kind of crazy that this much time has already passed since I've been here, but we've been busy. So I think that's why it's gone so fast. I've been in research and development since I was in college, since I was a junior in college. And I fell in love with it with an internship, and I've never left R&D since then. I started on the bench, then moved more into development, and now I'm really excited to lead development and strategy for LifeVantage's product portfolio.
I love it. I wish, right? Like, I need cool terms. Like, I worked on the bench. Like, I need terms like that in my job. Yeah.
Hey,
I
it
mean,
started out with me washing dishes and filling bottles of lotion and getting quizzed on what ingredients and raw materials did by my first boss. It was very stressful, but it was very good.
Wow, what a difference.
Dishes.
That's so funny. Well, I worked on the bench too, but I did that in grad school. So I have a PhD in food science with an emphasis in microbiology and genetics. And then I entered the dietary supplement industry about 20 years ago, but I've been with LifeVantage for the past 5.5 now. It'll be 6 this summer, I think. And under Lisa's guidance, it's been development has been accelerated like crazy, and it's never a dull moment here. We love it.
it is definitely never a dull moment. Well, I appreciate both of you taking time to do this tonight. Christina is battling the tail end of a cold, so if her voice starts to give out, she might just sit in the background and chirp in, and that's totally fine. But
Thank you, Jesse.
okay. Well, the intent of Activate Thursday, this really what we want to do is we want to educate and inform and talk about our products and help discover what really is what we're all about at LifeVantage from a product standpoint, and what sets our products apart from the market, and share really good information. And our intent, our audience, as we talk about this, our intended audience is somebody that's new, somebody that has not been around LifeVantage for a long time, but somebody that is maybe investigating or looking into it, or maybe one of our consultants has talked to you about the product, and you're like, well, I just want to learn more. And so that is really who we try to direct our comments to during this Activate Thursday. And obviously everybody else is welcome, and consultants that have been around forever. Hopefully you find value in this as well. So, but as we talk, we're going to try to direct things towards that new person, or that person that is investigating LifeVantage and is not familiar with who we are or what we do. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we're talking about micronutrients and the two products, Rise AM and Reset PM, and that system that we launched earlier in July. I'm gonna
January, right?
January, Jesse.
What did I just say? July?
Yeah.
July.
So the reason Lisa and Christina are here are to keep me on track. They do a really good job with it. Launched it
Gently, very gently.
we launched those two products in January, so just over, well, roughly 60 days ago. And we're really excited with what they're doing, but we're really excited about what they offer from a health standpoint to our consumer base. My assumption is that most of you that are watching tonight already use some type of a multivitamin. And if you don't, my hope is that you do, and that what we share tonight will reinforce why you should be. So whether you're now using Rise AM and Reset PM, or you're using something else, the information is going to be valuable. If you're using a different multivitamin, my encouragement right from the very beginning and challenge is really to make the switch over and start using Rise AM, Reset PM, and prove to yourself the difference that this product makes. We've got a very intelligent and a unique approach to delivering micronutrients, and that's what we're going to talk about this evening, and why it really is a superior approach to multivitamin supplementation. And I use that word supplementation intentionally, because we are known as the activation company. Like our flagship products, Protandem Nerf 2, Synergizer, the entire Protandem line, and a product that we released last year, the True Science Liquid Collagen, and some of our other products, Axio, Fatburn, they are all recognized as activators, meaning we're using natural materials or materials from nature to optimize the body's natural processes. So thinking about what's happening internally in your body, there's a number of processes that are happening, and our unique proposition is we're able to use specific materials to optimize those processes so that your body works the way it was intended to work. Multivitamin, at first glance, you're like, well, how does that fit in there? How does that make sense? That's not really an activator. But what I hope is that by the end of this call that we've dispelled that, and that there's recognition of why multi-nutrients and multivitamins are so important as it pertains to activation. So I'm going to pause there. I'm going to turn to Lisa. I don't have a question because I know you've got some stuff prepared. But let's give us a background a little bit, and Christina, you chime in here as well. Just give us a background a little bit on Rise AM and Reset PM, kind of set the stage. What are they? What are these two products? And why did we, as the activation company, decide to launch a multivitamin product?
Okay, well, as far as what Rise AM and Reset PM are, is it's a new approach to multivitamins, because what the science doesn't really support is taking all of your day's worth of nutrients in just one dosage, in one pill at one time during the day, because our bodies have their natural rhythms. We know as we're preparing to go to sleep, we have rhythms that help us fall asleep. We have rhythms as we wake up in the morning. We're constantly going through rhythms daily, weekly, monthly. Our bodies are constantly going through that. And so they don't support just dumping all the nutrients at one part of the day. And so that was kind of the starting point for looking at these two products. So we wanted to split apart an AM and a PM product to make sure you got the nutrients you needed at the right time. And that's going to be one of the mantras that we're going to be talking about this entire time. You come out with anything, that's the one that you need to come out with, is that we're delivering the right nutrients in the right amounts at the right time. Because really we need vitamins and minerals at their proper amounts. We need them because we don't want to have excess or too little, and we want to make sure that they're used at efficacious dose, and there's nothing that's competing with each other or competing for binding sites or anything like that that would keep it from working optimally. So that's part of the reason we split up the two. Also, something that makes our multivitamins unique, so our system unique, is that we're not only providing the vitamins and the minerals, we include other ingredients that you don't typically find in multivitamins. For example, in the AM, we have choline sources in there. We have phosphatidylcholine, and then we have another form of choline as well. And that's really important for brain health. So something you don't typically see. Also, the AM also has ginseng in it for kind of another source of energy. And then if you look in the PM formula, we have theanine, chamomile, passion flower. Beyond just those evening appropriate micronutrients, we also have these specific compounds, natural compounds that give additional calming effects to the body. So we're going beyond, first of all, we're going beyond just a multivitamin, and then we're also taking a unique approach by splitting it to really work with your body's natural rhythms. And what we call that, and we've kind of coined a term for it, is time-wise nutrient delivery. And it's that whole theory of the right nutrients and the right amounts at the right time.
Yeah. Christina, anything to add?
No, I completely agree with what Lisa said. I like this approach that we've taken with these two products.
Yeah. Maybe just a step back really quick, because I'm thinking to a conversation that Lisa and Christina and I had with one of our vendors recently. This vendor happens to be they are a producer of raw materials, but they are vertically integrated, so they actually have farms. They grow, and it's really cool because it's organic, and they do a number of things to preserve the integrity of the crop and the plant, and then they grow it, and then they harvest and then process the plants to create raw materials that we can then use for finished goods or for formulas. But in that conversation with them, and I wish I had the graph, and we'll find it, and maybe we'll share it in the thread of this live. But in that graph, he showed, and this was based on the U.S., but just the different types of foods that we consume. And he showed green vegetables, red vegetables, fruits, grains, and protein primarily is what I primarily remember. And I think dairy was in there as well. And then on the graph, it was showing where we are deficient as a society, or maybe where we're eating in excess what we should be. And what was so fascinating with that is green vegetables. By and large, we are so deficient as a society. Red and yellow vegetables, completely deficient as a society. Dairy, I can't remember where dairy landed. Grains was fascinating because whole grains, right, the good ones, we were completely deficient. Refined grains, the ones that have been stripped of fiber and stripped of all the benefits, were way too high, right? We're just which is just indicative of overly processed foods.
Yes.
Exactly.
and eating out of a box rather than eating whole foods. And then protein, ironically, protein, and this makes sense as well because I think the US society and US community were hyper focused on protein, and somehow we've given carbs a bad name, but protein was again too much. And so like if the question is, do I really need a multivitamin? Is it important to me? Well, the reality is, if you're like the rest of the US population, you're more than likely deficient in those micronutrients. And I'm not saying anything that's new to probably 99% of those that are watching, but just the nature of, if our food source was perfect or where it was 100 or 200 years ago, a multivitamin might not be necessary. I don't know, but our soil has been so depleted. Big industrial farming have done so much to modify plants that some of those nutrients are just not there. And so the question, do I need a multivitamin?
Yes.
The answer for nearly everyone is going to be yes, because your diet is just deficient.
Well, and you alluded to that, Jesse, that even if you think you have a perfect diet and you're trying to do the right things, eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day and protein and all that, you said it, the plant that you're buying now in the grocery store compared to the one you bought 50 years ago in the grocery store does not have the same amount of nutrients, because we're depleting the soil. So so the plants get all their nutrients from the soil, and if it's overproduced and not rotated correctly, then we're not going to get the same type of foods that our parents had, basically.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago with Dr. Nancy Bryan, she alluded to, and I can't even remember why she was talking about this in the conversation, but she was talking about vitamin C specifically, even though the conversation was about vitamin D, but she was talking about vitamin C, and right, we all know that oranges and citrus are a phenomenal source of vitamin C. But her words, and I have every reason to believe that this is accurate, that one orange, to get the equivalent of what vitamin C you got from one orange, say 50 years ago, today you'd have to eat like eight oranges to get
the same principle. They're just not getting the same nutrients out of the dirt. Like we did 50 or 60 years ago.
We're not able to physically eat enough of these products to get the nutrients we need. So like you were saying, we can do all the best things, we can eat all the things we're supposed to, but we're still going to fall short and have these deficiencies.
Yeah. And that really is that applies to all of us, right? Every one of us, including our children, because it's just the nature of our food source today. And then that's even for those of us that are eating whole foods, right? Real actual food, right? For those of us that are eating from the center of the grocery store where everything comes in a box, you're even worse off, unfortunately. And so that really, I mean, just trying to make it as simple as possible is really the reason that everyone needs a multivitamin. And within LifeVantage, some will say, well, yeah, but I'm using Nerf2, I'm activated, and my body's going to naturally produce what I need. And that's correct in some cases, but not in all cases, because your body, in many cases, the micronutrients that are in those formulas, your body can't produce on its own. It has to consume it from an outside source.
Correct. So you can make some of the minerals. Yeah, and also these vitamins and minerals, they're cofactors in these signaling pathways, so that they help the Nerf2 pathway function better. Or so it's not just, yes, you're activating your Nerf2 pathways, but activate it better. Activate it more efficiently. And so you need these small micronutrients to do that, right?
So let's break that down. And I want to spend a little time talking about this, because what you're talking about is really answers that question of why would the activation company introduce a multivitamin?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
The multivitamin on its own is not really an activating product. But what I would like to get to with in the next couple of minutes is an understanding that micronutrients are not just critical, but essential for
Right.
activation to occur.
Yeah.
Now
So
you use,
I can give you a really good example. If
Okay.
you want to enter from an outside area to an inside area, there's a door with a lock, correct? So this lock somehow has to be activated to open the door so that you can go in. You can look at it as you want to go in from the outside of the cell to the inside of the cell, but you need to get that key to get through it. Well, really, you have maybe the big, you have two locks. So you have one key to open the bottom lock, but you don't have the top lock opened. So you need an activator or a cofactor to open that top lock, so they work together to open that door. And then you can enter and you can, do what you need to do. So that's kind of how these vitamins and minerals work. They act as they open a lock of one of the pathways to get into wherever they need to go.
yeah. So, and when you say cofactor, another word for cofactor would be one of the vitamins or one of the minerals.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
Or
I-
a helper to a reaction, to an
Okay.
enzyme that reacts somehow. And then this vitamin or mineral helps this enzyme to perform its function.
Yeah. So just continuing on that, right? If we think about, because activation is all about the cellular pathway, or right, we use that word a lot, but within that pathway, to go back to your analogy, there are multiple doors with locks, or there are bridges that those enzymes have to follow to get to a certain, molecule. Okay, the not scientist.
So, but you have it right. I mean, you got to go through several doors to get where you need to go. Yes.
And the multivitamin, the multi-nutrients within a multivitamin are what necessary to help unlock those various doors so that we get to that, whatever that end molecule is that needs to be activated.
Correct.
But if you are deficient and you lack the certain multivitamins, those doors essentially can't be unlocked.
Correct.
Exactly. You have a limited pool of micronutrients to pull from, so only so many reactions can happen. It's limited.
Yeah. And so for someone within LifeVantage that is activated, that is using our product, that is using NRF2, that is using liquid collagen, it's not to say, well, I guess, so the multivitamin, Rise AM and Reset PM, are just going to help those products actually perform better, right? Because it's unlocking those doors along the pathway, the pathway that NRF2 is trying to engage with.
Correct. Providing that optimal environment for activation.
That's probably a better way to say it, the optimal environment. So I knew there was a reason you guys were on this column.
Yeah, Lisa's on the call.
Yeah, we got to contribute every once in a while.
And so it provides the optimal environment so that activation actually occurs. And the amazing and the fantastic thing about that, and I think we're going to talk about that in the next couple of weeks, is that we have data to actually prove that. We've actually done the studies where we've looked at these key activating products, NRF2 and NRF1 and NAD, part of the Protandim line, and we looked at them on their own, and then we looked at them in conjunction with AM/PM, and we saw in not just a statistically significant, but kind of a remarkable results that they just worked better when the cell had the optimal environment because of micronutrients to actually work.
Yeah, and I think the thing to remember when we do talk about those studies is that's just one case study. We use those to kind of test out the theory and just really give an example of how micronutrients are necessary for proper activation. You can think about all of your activated products in the LifeVantage portfolio, all the products you use every day, and your mind you can just start imagining, okay, if I do have this proper micronutrient base, how could this product work better and this product work better? The Protandim products are just the beginning, just a little proof of principle, but you can really expand that principle out.
Yeah. Sorry, Christina, were you going to add something to that? Okay. The I lost my train of thought. I had a question. I'm sure it'll come to me. So the micronutrients create that optimal environment so that activation can occur. So in that regard, even somebody that is using the activation products, they're going to benefit from adding a multivitamin to their routine, right?
Correct. And we've heard the testimonials of people who are activated and using our products currently who added the AM and PM to their routine, and the differences even they felt on top of how they already were feeling from using Protandim it was remarkable.
Yeah.
That they could note the difference without even, because they didn't even actually know what the product really was when they were testing it, but they could feel that synergy occurring.
Yeah. And the nice thing, if somebody's watching that's not activated, that's not using Protandim Nerve 2, that's not using liquid collagen or some of our other activating products, one is start. You really should be using those products. They're world class, and they have a significant impact on your health and well-being and health span and a number of other things.
And we keep learning new things about them every day too. It's exciting. The more we study them, the more we look into them. Christina and I get really excited because we find out more new and surprising things that they do that explain some of the benefits you see. We start understanding it a little bit better and just really understand how remarkable these products are.
Yeah, and if you're watching right now, and you are at Evolve, the event, which is happening right now this weekend, everything what Lalisa just talked about, she may be talking a little bit more about that on stage tomorrow. So make sure you're involved, because we've got some great new studies specifically about Nerve 2 and liquid collagen that she's going to share from the stage at Evolve. If you're not using those products, here's the great thing about multivitamin, right? Especially like just normal individual trying to eat healthy, trying to do what they should, but they're just deficient, no fault of their own. It's just the nature of our food source today. What's remarkable about starting to take Rise AM and Reset PM is that you just feel better, right? Give it a few days, take it for a few days. I think I shared this with Nancy the other day. My in-laws started using Rise AM and Reset PM, and they're one data point, but within a week they called me and they're like, we just feel better. Like we have more energy during the day. We're sleeping better at night. And then they started asking, can this person use it? Can this person use it? Because they just felt better. And that is something that we hear over and over and over again with these products and with people that begin using Rise AM and Reset PM, is that as soon as your body has those nutrients that it needs for that optimal environment, as Lisa said, you just naturally feel better. Mm-hmm. And this is what really is so powerful about Rise AM and Reset PM, these two formulas, one to be delivered or to be consumed in the morning and one consumed in the evening. What Lisa talked about earlier, time-wise nutrient delivery, is that we have formulated these products to coincide with your natural circadian rhythm, right? Mm-hmm. When your body wants to wake up, it starts a whole host of processes within the body that need certain nutrients. And that's what we're giving to it with the Rise AM formula. Exactly. And then in the evening, we all know, like, your body wants to shut down. It wants to start to calm down. It wants to start producing certain things so that the body can sleep. And it needs materials in order for those processes to occur. And that's
also wants to recover from the day as well, because we face so much during the day. No matter how good we try to be, we're facing different stresses. And so part of that is also feeding into those recovery processes that happen at night.
Yeah. And with the Reset PM, we are delivering the materials that the body needs to calm down, to get ready for bed, and then to Lisa's point, to repair, and it needs certain micronutrients to go through that repair process and do what it does. And so we've, it's an intelligent, I keep using that word, but it's an intelligent approach to formulation where we're giving your body what it needs in the morning, what it needs at night, what we call time-wise nutrient delivery, or the right materials at the right times in the right amounts. Christina, you were central to the formulation of these products. And I think we've talked about it enough, but maybe for those that these were in the works for a long time. These formulas were actually developed almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So we spent a lot of time on them. What about these formulas, Christina, from somebody that actually was doing the development, whether it's the formulas or the material, what stands out to you? Like and maybe the question that I'm really trying to ask is, what makes you proud about these formulas?
Yeah, so when we started this whole project, we wanted to be different, and we wanted to approach it more from a biochemistry standpoint, from a digestibility standpoint, and how are the people going to, how are consultants and consumers going to use it, and things. So we know that we added some activated forms of the B vitamins in there already to help the body digest them. For example, B6. There's 2 different forms of B6 in there. One is what everyone else is using in the industry, but then we also have the activated form. So just because you're taking a vitamin doesn't mean that your body can use it. Every vitamin that enters your body has to be changed. It has to be changed to be active in the body. For example, so B6, for example, has to be phosphorylated. It's a fancy word for adding a phosphate group to the phosphates, and methyl groups are very important in the biochemistry of the body. So for this particular vitamin, you need to phosphorylate it to a certain degree for it to be active in various pathways. So we're adding one form of active B6 in there as well. Then we also added, we know that about 30% of the population is somewhat has a mutation in the way they can utilize folic acid, right? And we all know that folic acid is super, super important for making healthy DNA and for, healthy pregnancy. Everybody is saying, in your prevital, oh, you need to, even before you even get pregnant, you need to make sure your folate status is top of the notch, right? So we added a methylated form of folate in there because that's the active form, so that people that have some type of mutation in that gene can utilize it as well. And then another one that we looked at was vitamin B12. And B12, the active form of B12, which happens in the stomach, where it gets activated to a methylated form. Well, if you have stomach issues, you're not going to be able to convert it into the methylated form very easily or very efficiently. So we're adding that form in there so that you can utilize it right away, right? So just for us to think about these additions to the formulas so that everybody can have a positive response to these was really the most important thing for us to do. And also to separate some minerals from others because they work better or away from other minerals, so we separated them into the AM and PM version. So it just a whole thought process of putting the formulas together, not just throwing them all together. And here you go, you use it any which way your body wants it to. So it was a more intelligent way of approaching that whole thing.
And make it easier for your body to use this product.
Yeah.
Because we're essentially removing one step, either phosphorylation or methylation from it, so that your body can use it faster and easier. And I believe that's why you're seeing these phenomenal results. We're putting it in a form that your body really wants, and just making it easier, cutting out the middleman.
Yeah. And I think what I love about that, for those that are sitting, that are watching, what that means is we used a superior form of the raw material, right?
Yes.
We could have used because on the label, you don't see any different, right?
No, it'll tell you on the label.
But you have to pay attention and know what you're looking for.
Yes.
Exactly.
You have no clue what it means.
Yeah. And so we've used a superior form that has been converted or activated or changed so that your body it's much easier for your body to use.
Exactly.
There's a cost associated with that, right? When you start using superior ingredients, they're just more expensive.
Yeah.
But that was, I can use the words non-negotiable in the sense
That's
of,
priority.
yeah, our concern is what is the best possible product for the best possible result for the consumer.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and
that,
I can tell you that as we're developing products, that's a real question that we ask all the time, because we can see the substantiation through literature and all of this. But the question that always comes back to is, will you guys notice a difference? Will it impact you positively? Will it work? And we always go back to that. And what can we do then to make it work better? And we're talking about that with every product we develop, including this one.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, so Lisa, right, you weren't directly involved with the formulation just because you hired on six months ago.
Exactly.
They
It's
were
already done.
they were formulated 2 years ago. But in your career, you've spent a lot of time in this world and with formulating supplements. And we know that your specialty is skincare, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been directly involved with supplements and with some big companies, which is wonderful. So my question is, when you got here, you look at those formulas and look at what we're doing. What stood out to you? And maybe both as a consumer, but also as a scientist, like what was it that you're like, wow, that's fantastic, or and maybe I don't want to, put words in your mouth, but.
Well, and I was going to say and for me, it's hard to separate the two because I've always been the scientist along with the consumer. So I always approach it with that lens. If you ever hand me a skincare product, I immediately turn it around and read every ingredient and tell you what they do and tell you whether I think it'll work or not. It's a very annoying habit that some people like, some people find endearing, some people hate. But so I always have both those hats on at the same time. What really got to me was the working with the body's rhythms, because the last couple of years before I came over here to LifeVantage, I've been really fascinated by circadian rhythms and just how your body works, has these different rhythms, and making sure that whatever you use works within those rhythms, because we know it just impacts so many aspects of health. And so when I saw that we were using this product to we were approaching it from that perspective, that was really intriguing for me, because it tells me, okay, we're not just throwing everything in and all at once, like Christina was saying, that there's a purpose to everything I'm taking, because I only have so much time in my day. I only want to take so many products practically. And I know a lot of you feel the same way. So I want to make sure that what I'm taking will work the best way it should with my body. Yeah. And so the circadian rhythm really stood out to me in that perspective.
Yeah, well, I love that. Thank you. That's wonderful. From a personal standpoint or personal perspective, I'm kind of a health and wellness fitness fanatic. It's just kind of where I live, and it's where my family lives, and it's just kind of how but what I'm trying to say is these products, these two formulas, I mean, it's really one product, the Rise AM Reset PM system, 2 formulas. This is a product that I will not go without. This is one, I mean, I use all of our products and use nearly all of them every single day. But these 2 formulas specifically, because of everything that they do, and I eat really, really healthy and whole foods and doing all of those things, single ingredient foods. But still, I know, just because of the nature of the way food is, it's deficient, and my body, not just me, but the body needs those nutrients for an optimal environment, so that my activators can work, right? So that tandem nerve 2 works the way it should, so that collagen works the way it should, so that Axio, which I love and drink too much of, works the way it should, so that fat burn,
that's a conversation for another day,
works the way it should. Because of that, I will not miss Rise AM and Reset PM. Those are 2 that I have to have every single day.
Foundation.
Yeah, it's that foundation. I have to have them every single day. Okay, I noticed that Christina was starting to cough. Right. So it's probably time to wrap this call up. Any
Blame it on
last
me.
She's
part-
really trying to hit
any,
at you, Jesse. She's like.
any
Blame it on
parting
me. Go
words
ahead.
as we close this up, Christina?
No, but I'm really excited about this product because of what it does and the ingredients that we put in there. I actually take it every day too.
Good. Lisa?
I'm just amazed at what we've seen so far, especially with its role in activation and really helping it work optimally. And I'm excited, we'll see if I get the budget for it, to continue to look at other ways that it impacts different activation stories, because the science is there, the theory is there, and I want to just continue to dig in. So once again, encourage you to add this to your routine. Try it, switch out your multivitamin if you're already taking one. See if you feel a difference. Give it a little bit of time, especially if you're already activated, throw it in there and see the difference you can feel. Because really that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Do you feel better? Are you able to get through your day better? Then that's a win.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. Well, Christina, Lisa, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys being on this call. It's going to be the three of us again in 2 weeks. We're actually going to be talking about the cell study, the studies that were done specifically on these formulas. We're going to dig into those a little bit more and make sure that we all understand the science behind them and what they're actually doing. But thank you for taking time to join us this evening. We appreciate it. And, I say this every time, but we recognize you've got so many other things that you could be doing. And the fact that you were here with us tonight, we really, really appreciate it. We will jump into the comments, answer any questions that you had. We're going to block any nonsense just kidding. There's no nonsense ever in these threads. So we'll jump in and answer all your questions and reply to all your comments. For those of you that are in New Orleans for Evolve, the consultants that are with us tonight, enjoy the weekend, enjoy your time, be safe. For those of you that aren't here, be safe as well. And we will see you in 2 weeks when we do this again. Same exact place right here on Facebook, talking about the cell studies or the scientific studies that were done with Rise AM and Reset PM. So with that, we'll sign off. Have a great evening. And thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.